All right, it's a Sunday evening of Morning Brew with Jaffe and Razor, so it could be an evening brew or beverage if you want that, or you're getting us early on Monday morning. And, well, I hope you still enjoy your coffee. I don't know if you'll enjoy it as much since the Boston Bruins lose 1-0 to the Pittsburgh Penguins in a Sunday afternoon game in Pittsburgh. Bruins now, Razor, have lost 2 games in a row in regulation, and the gap is closing as the New York Rangers took care of business on their end, and now just 4 points behind the Bruins. Bruins still have 2 games in hand. I'll get it right out there. I'm still not nervous yet. I still think the Bruins are okay. They could fall flat on their face for all I know, but I don't think they're going to. I don't. However, with that said, let's just get right into the breakdown of this game, which I never felt like watching. Never felt like that the Bruins were really razor sharp as I welcome you in. How about that? Unlike you, my friend. I'm sure you will, but you got the sharp coho going. And by the way, the Boston Snapback people, thank you very much, Kyle, for this bad boy and a couple of others. You, my friend, and RC getting some as well. Yeah, I never felt like they were sharp, bud. I never did. No. Did you?
No, it really felt like a sleepy Sunday afternoon game. But, for that matter, I didn't think Pittsburgh was that sharp either. It was a bit of a sleepy one, and no, it never felt like they were going to turn it on. It never felt like they were going to start to penetrate and really get good chances. It just felt like everything was going to be on the perimeter at both sides, and you're looking at 0-0. I'm hoping it gets to overtime, and maybe they sneak a point out of this. That's what I was thinking after the second period. All right, it's going to be a 0-0 or a 1-1 game, hopefully into overtime, and you take that point and go, because you just felt like Pittsburgh had a little bit more, but even that, it wasn't. Pittsburgh was never going to score 4 goals in that game either.
You don't think? Like I thought that. I guess I'm agreeing with what you said, but I thought Pitt was. I did think they were noticeably better. I don't know if they would have scored 4. I'll agree with you on that, but I thought that they were noticeably better. I'm going over my notes from the game, and I'm looking at it, and I think I've counted maybe 4 or 5 good Boston stuff, and probably about 8 close attempts for Pitt that I thought were better. And I don't have the high danger in front of me. That it was like 11-2, I think, something like that. I mean, it was. I just felt like Pitt not only kept the Bruins to the outside the whole time. I just felt like through the neutral zone, the Bruins were never clean through the neutral zone either way. They got beat a couple of times. Defensemen pitching, forwards not getting in, blah blah blah. And I thought Pitt was much faster through the neutral zone.
Yeah, and it seemed as though they had the advantage of playing yesterday, and typically that's not the case in back-to-backs. But in this situation, listen, and I know coming off of those Buffalo games as well as a killer, being on the road this whole time, getting vaccination shots, playing Buffalo, like I said, again, I'll say that, just how sloppy those games were, how painful, just no energy in them to try and turn it on isn't always the easiest, and get to the level that Pittsburgh's playing at right now. And to your point, that's what it looked like. They just weren't able to keep up.
Yeah. See, I think that's a potential scary flaw, that they couldn't get, rise the level to what they needed to there at Razor, in the sense of, and we're going to hit the 3rd and 4th line very soon. Bruce talked about it in postgame. Bruce also said in postgame that he said, I don't question our effort. I don't. Like, we worked hard. It was one of those every inch of ice was battled for, and I'll give him that. But I felt like, I thought the Bruins coming out of Buff that weren't that emotional, that weren't that energized, would come out with a lot more P&V, man. A lot more piss and vinegar, and I thought that they would, they're a team that they seem to like getting dragged into the fight. Well, sometimes you got to drag the opponent in, and they never got to that level, and they had to, I felt, on Sunday, and they just couldn't manufacture it.
Yeah, it's true. It's hard on these afternoon games. You can't overstate it. I can't overstate the fact that they've sat in their hotel all day long yesterday. No one skated. They didn't get on the ice, so they didn't skate for 36 hours, and to go out there and try and rev your body up. Yeah, you want to tell yourself mentally, you're trying to tell yourself, but with the compressed schedule and everything else that's going on, that's even hard to do. There's nobody in the building to get yourself going.
I'm with you. But should they have changed? With that said, Bud, should they maybe have made some lineup changes then to get guys in that would be probably more energized by getting themselves back in the lineup? It's a question that has to be asked.
Yeah, sure. I think that could be challenged. That could be debated. If a guy like Frederick, I'm assuming we're looking at that.
Kuhlman. Kuhlman.
Yeah.
Kuhlman for short term seems to be good enough, right? He brings that kind of jitterbug. Out there.
But again, we've talked. You don't. The fourth line's playing well. They've already sat out a bunch of games. Wagner doesn't want to hear, we're going to bring someone else in to bring some energy on this afternoon game after he sat out 7 of 9 games and 8 of 10 games. Like, no, this is my gig. I just played really well this week. You can't take me out of this. So I don't know, unless you're really going to send a message and take another Jake DeBrusk out or someone who's struggling, a Charlie Coyle, it's hard to take that fourth line off. And so beyond those guys, where, to bring that energy, I don't know if you could do that. So that also puts the coaching staff in a tough spot.
Well, they obviously seem to give Coyle and Ritchie and DeBrusk the big-time benefit of the doubt. I know that Ritchie has scored the last couple, and we've talked about how we saw a little better from DeBrusk here and there. I'm going back the last couple of games, and Coyle had the one good game and then didn't have a good game. So they're obviously, when I say believing in these guys, I think they're actually just praying that they get it figured out. I don't know, man. I think now after this game today, where they did mix up the third and fourth line after the first period. So it started the second period. You had Lazar at center, Coyle on right, and DeBrusk on left. I don't know. I think there has to be a change made going into Tuesday's game for one of them, if not two. I mean, if you put Lazar back with the fourth line, that's. The fourth line didn't have the same vibe when Lazar wasn't there. That's my take.
Exactly.
What do you think?
No, I agree with that, and that goes to the point of he's going to make a tough decision. The coaching staff has to make tough because you can't just. It's not just a couple young guys that you can move in and out, and that's what gets hard when you hear coaches sometimes talk about how hard it is when you have a very talented lineup. And it's these in-weekend adjustments that you'd like to make to find energy, but at the same time, it's hard to move guys that are making $5 million a year out of the lineup for a kid who hasn't played, but who's probably going to give you energy. And those are really tough decisions to make, and you try not to have to make them, but to your point, they might need to do that on Tuesday night. Without a question, I would guarantee you're going to see 1,000-time better effort, and guys are going to be much better mind and mental frame Tuesday night, no matter the outcome, than what it was on Sunday afternoon.
Does anybody get a? Well, I shouldn't say anybody. I thought there were a couple of guys that I don't know if I'd give them a piping hot, but I'd give them a nice cup. I thought Taylor Hall was good again. That didn't score, but I thought his effort was. I thought it was excellent.
I thought that line. I like it. So I agree, and Swayman's the other guy. He deserves, he did a good job. Again, not giving anything for free, and that's where, again on an afternoon, that's where he's at. If he doesn't give anything for free, then he gives his team a chance to win. So he did that, but no, back to that shift they had at the end of the second period. Was a thing of beauty. The forechecking, the pressure, the layers those guys have had, and Smith and Hall skating the way they are, and Krejci being able to read off of them is it's a dangerous line. It's a good line. It's a really good line.
Yeah, you're talking late in the second, right?
Correct. Smith had that great chance in the slot with like 7 or 8
seconds left. Right. I have that marked asterisk. 46-12 late in the period. Chari made a nice save. It was square to it, followed it right into his body.
Didn't
Smith
overplay
wasn't
able to get it to that far side like I think he wanted, but he got to the spot. He got
and there was a good chance before that too. Marchand had a chance with about 150. I'm going to say 154. I could be wrong off the cycle on the clock or so. And again, those are maybe 2 or 3 of the marks that I have as to being significant.
Yeah.
So if we had, since you're the guy who loves that iced coffee, who'd get Razor's iced moment, or not moment, but iced performance of the game? Cold performance.
Cold.
It's pretty obvious to me.
I mean, are you going with the Ocho, the Ochos?
Yeah.
The top, I'm assuming that's where we're going. The giveaways at the line, the backhanded plays, the things that just aren't happening this year and continually get forced. It's got to be frustrating as a coaching staff, and there's just not enough coming out of it. There just isn't, and it's affecting, I think, that top line a little bit. Puts a lot of pressure on the other 2 guys, and he's got to score. That's what he does. He's got to score.
Well, he'd be there. I'd give him a cold. I'd obviously David Pastrnak. And to me, I just didn't see nearly enough out of Jake DeBrusk today. And I don't know. And Charlie again too. I mean, I know I keep telling myself he's better than. I know it. I know, but it's not there. It's not there right now. Now, if it's bothering the fans, I can only imagine how much it's bothering him.
Yeah.
I'm assuming it's bothering Jake too. It has to be.
And Pastrnak. Those 3 guys, it's affecting them. You can see their body language and
not good.
No,
but one of them has to sit. And it's if anything, it's just to say, from a coaching perspective, we got to do something because you 3 guys are too valuable. You can't do all 3 of them. Let's not go crazy here.
That would be a story.
That would be a story. I don't know. I mean, people are kind of clamoring for Trent Frederick. I don't know what you do there. I don't know what you do. I'm not sure.
I know, and again, we're not sure, and we don't actually have to deal with. We're just commenting on it, right? And that's, I think everyone we can look at it from that perspective. We try and look at it from different perspectives on this show, and that's where I look at it. It's easy to that someone's got to go, but like I was saying, as coaches, you have to read the room. You can lose a room by sitting one guy out, and the rest of the guys can take offense to things like that. So it's a tough situation, but certainly from our point of view, there's no question they're not getting enough from that, and it's been long enough now. You're looking at 10, 12 games that they've been in the lineup where nothing's still getting done, and the only way to really affect that is ice time and ice time.
Yeah, and ice time, right? And sometimes ice time even means healthy scratch time.
That's right. Yep.
Patrice Bergeron, 14:55 in this game, a game-time decision. I had heard after that previous game that it was a short-term thing. I'm glad that it was really short, that he was only out 1 game. Hopefully he responds well to the pressure that he had. We're all assuming it's the inside of that foot where he blocked the shot a couple of games ago. He was out there grinding away. I did think it was I just saw it as a grind fest from the Bruins. I thought Lausanne struggled in this game. I did. I thought he struggled. I have a few marks on here. I know he had a couple of hits in this game. He tumbled once early on the left side, and it was an odd man rush the other way. There was there was a giveaway. I don't know. I didn't love it, and I know why he's in there, and I want to be a fan, but I keep saying, is it a Tenorti time? I think they'll play Zaboral over Tenorti, though.
Yeah,
and I can't.
It seems like that's the way it's going. It's funny too. Pittsburgh, watching them, they're very good at picking on a defenseman.
Yep,
they're very good at recognizing who's not playing well on a shift-to-shift basis. Really, and it starts with Sid. It's similar to Patrice and their ability to pick on guys, and they've done that over their last 5-6 years, but Sid does it the same way. And when a guy like Lauzon's not playing well, they can really they're going at you. They are going at you every shift, and it's really difficult as a younger guy to get out of that. And that seemed to me, it seemed pretty obvious they were trying to take him on in every situation.
Yeah, yeah. I felt a bit exposed at times in the game. I'm not sure if it's enough to have him take a seat on Tuesday night. You have options. Are they better than him? I don't know. For what you already have, if I didn't see like that dynamic play either from McAvoy or Grzelcyk. I will give some credit to Pittsburgh for the way that they played, for the structure, the compete level with which they played. I know some fans don't want to hear that, but it is a small fact that there is another NHL team on the ice sometimes. And
sometimes they know how to play hockey.
And sometimes they have an idea of how to play structured hockey like your favorite team does.
Yeah.
Now, the goal obviously is to beat them at that structure all the time. But sometimes you got to say, holy smokes, but I didn't see, like Grizz, I didn't see him dancing. And I go back to the neutral zone. I never felt he really got the legs going. And Pitt was back and coverage in lanes. And then to the point about not getting to the inside, you can go on Natural Stat Trick, which is a site I'm sure many of our fans are familiar of. And you can see the heat map of where the shots were from. Noticeable different, Razor. Bruins versus Pens. Just noticeable. And that's an issue right now.
Sure. Against that kind of a team. And it was all layers for Pitt. You could see it was the first man, then there was two guys, then there was a D, then there was another. It was 4 layers through that neutral zone throughout the game. And for guys like Grzelcyk and McAvoy to try and beat that was next to impossible with their legs and their feet, because there's not enough support. There's not enough guys coming with them. So Pitt played it to perfection in that regards, and that's why those guys struggled a little bit. And yeah, the heat map, they also this year more than any other year too, to keep it, is when you win 6 in a row, how hard it is to win 7, 8 in a row and when that streak ends, to get it back. It seems harder this year than it has in previous years because the games are coming so hot and heavy, and it feels like they went cold real quick. And I think we've done that a few times this year already, where it's like, wow, all of a sudden that it looks like they can't do anything, which it might be a little bit of a DNA in this team, and certainly DNA in the entire league this year.
Yeah, I'd agree about that. Unfortunately, right now they can't go on one of those colds.
That's right.
This game felt like a few weeks ago. It didn't feel like PTD, post-trade deadline.
That's right.
Bruins. This felt like a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah.
Again, I never felt after the first period for sure, I never felt that they were going to win. I didn't.
Yeah, that's no fun. Right.
Maybe that's just the pessimist. I don't know, in me, Mr. Happy that I am, Mr. Sunshine. A few notes on Pittsburgh, because they're going to see him again, and also they could obviously play them in the playoffs, assuming they get there. Kapanen, I thought, looked good. He's been injured. I thought Kasperi looked very good. He could present an issue for this team. He combines that middle 6 speed and size and strength. He's not huge, but he plays big. He's kind of got a bull edge to his game. I thought Jeff Carter, who I haven't watched a ton this year. I've watched some LA Kings. I thought Carter looked good. I did. I thought he looked very competent.
Smooth and skiz.
Yep.
I mean, yeah, being out in La La Land, and for them not going to finals like they were 7 years ago with him, you forget what kind of talent he is, and hockey's just easy for him. He's in like the Joe Thornton category for me, where you look and he could do nothing all summer. He could do. He'll be able to do that when he's 55. The way he plays, he's just so big and long and strong, and it's just easy, and he looks a little bit more energetic, and he's a guy as well who's really smart, who can play on this team and can figure out how to play with the guys he's on lines with, and moves. These guys move around through the lineup a little bit as well, and he's a guy who can figure it out because he is that good.
Yeah.
He's a big matchup problem.
He could be because, does he go third line center when Malkin's
right.
back? And that's the third guy I wanted to touch on here. Malkin is practicing. Last I read, yesterday, I believe, was non-contact still, but,
like if you have Crosby, Malkin, Carter, those guys are big game hunters as well. What do we got? 3, 4, 5, like 9 cups?
Yeah.
Did they all 3 of them have 3 cups each? I mean,
Carter has 2 for sure.
He didn't get
Does he
all
have 3? Was he Philly? Was he there for that?
Yeah.
Or no, Philly didn't win it. Philly didn't win it. They lost to Chicago.
Yeah. So
in the
he's been in the
finals,
finals three times. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, geez.
I know. I'm with you. I mean, that's why.
Yeah.
But what I'm saying is, I think he was more impactful, noticeable than not that I thought, that I knew he would be. Now, does he do that come playoff time when the pace and intensity will be higher? I know he's done it in the past. Can his body keep it up for this one? That's yet to be seen. But for the eye test for this game, for Sunday afternoon, I thought he was damn good. He was noticeable. And again, the other one coming back, Malkin. Now, how's his knee? We'll have to wait and see. He's been out for a while since the Tenorti hit on him. But if he's engaged, watch out. I mean, watch the heck out. All right, so I think we agreed that the iced beverage, the iced coffee is a couple of guys. The Krejci line, we'll give them a hot beverage. We'll give them a nice piping hot. I think for their,
you get shut out.
Hot.
Yeah, you can't be a piper.
Right. It's just a nice, And then kind of a warm brew at times, the first line, Marchand and Bergeron at times. It's a nice cup of coffee. Nobody on the back end, anybody jump out at you is having to get, I mean, it was all kind of like, it was like convenience store coffee. That's pretty much what it was. It did the trick.
On a long road trip.
On a long road trip,
drinkable. Right. Sometimes it's needed,
but they need to be better, bud. All right, so coming up on Tuesday, Tuukka Rask expected to start. Let's hope that everybody that they want healthy is healthy for that. I do think, I know I started the show 22 minutes ago saying I still think the Bruins are going to be okay. That doesn't mean it's going to be pretty down the stretch, but I think they're going to be okay for the playoffs. But I do think that this game, Tuesday night, is incredibly significant now. I do. If you mentioned you don't want to get on that long down stretch. B, you could play this team early on in the playoffs. And I think you have to prove to yourself and to your team, your coaches and your fans that, you're willing to do the stuff to get to the middle. I do. I think it's time for that in this game on Tuesday night.
Yeah, I think so. I think that they need pushback, certainly, and they did that last time they were in Pitt. Vladar came in. That's when he got his first win. They were playing horrible. They played horrible the first time in Pitt, and they did. And so, yeah, I'm not as I expect an effort. If the effort doesn't come, and I think this is to your point, then you can be a little bit more concerned about the last 10 games of the season. And I think at this point, I expect them to do all those things we're doing, and I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt until then, that they will have a big bounce back, get to the middle, no messing around, feel better after a day and a half of skating a couple times.
Well, let's hope so. They have practice on Monday. I don't know the time. And then again, Tuesday night, 7 o'clock in Pittsburgh. Nothing else really jumps out at me. 6 hits from Kevin Miller in the game. Tristan Bergeron, 13 for 23 in the face-off circle. I mean, nothing really jumps out at me to say, okay, got to go and discuss it. Anything else you want to hit on this one, partner? No?
No, I mean, Kevin Miller's story is always where is he at practice the next day, right? That, if he gets through the game, plays 6 hits, does what he does, he's just so valuable. And I thought he did all those right things again today. It's a matter of, all right, hopefully he's fine tomorrow and he's playing Tuesday too. That's where his story is.
Yeah. Yeah. All right.
But beyond that, it was a little frustrating. You just want to get points too, right? Like you just find a way to get a point and feel so much different. But
Absolutely.
with the Rangers scoring 9 goals every game, so
Yeah. Well, here's the thing. Again, I'll take Bruce's word. I do. I'll take it where he says, I don't question their effort. But yet the next sentence he talked about, but we didn't do enough. Certain guys didn't do enough to get to the middle. So I just question, fine, Bruce, if they're playing hard, you have the best seat in the house. You know how hard it was there. That's fine. But you know what? Get your ass going for this Tuesday night game in Pittsburgh. Drag some guys in with you. Challenge them a bit more. I wrote down 2 half step behind regularly. I don't want to see that. I don't want to see half step behind. I don't want to see reaching. I want to see above the puck. You know what I mean? I want to see in the right spot. Get that on Tuesday. Get a victory. We're all feeling a bit better. But in the meantime, right now, all we know is that the Bruins on Sunday afternoon lose 1-0 to the Pittsburgh Penguins in Pittsburgh. We will talk to you after Tuesday night's game. The rest of the week, Tuesday night, Pitt. Thursday and Saturday back at home against the Buffalo Sabres. But we're not going to worry about those games until we get you on Tuesday. In the meantime, enjoy the show. Enjoy your beginning of the week. Please stay safe, stay healthy, and enjoy that piping hot coffee.